Okay, guys, hurricane-like forces are supposedly coming. It's just a nice, lovely rain right now, so I'll just check in later and let you know if the hurricane-like weather comes. Hey, y'all, good morning. Is this the first day of fall? Was it yesterday? I don't know, but y'all, happy fall. I realized that cold brew coffee can be heated up, right? Cold brew is just the process of how they make it. Am I correct? So anyway, I feel like hot coffee. I feel like I love hot coffee in the morning. I gotta go in my garage and rearrange things. So it's raining, but it's not crazy raining yet. So I don't know when the storms are coming. So everything got canceled this weekend. And mentally, I canceled. They're canceled. But I signed up. There's an art workshop at 2, but that's when Mark and Sue and I were going to be together. But anyway, I signed up for that, a free one. Oh, y'all. It's 8 o'clock. I've been laying in bed. I woke up at 5, and I was listening and reading, and because I wasn't ready to get up and work, and if I got up, Claire would be having a fit. I'm having a little bit of a bagel, just... That was too much of a bite, y'all. I'll be here chewing for 20 minutes. And remember, chew your food good because your stomach does not have teeth. Okay? In case you didn't know that. Some wisdom from Tracy at the Mermaid Cove. Tracy from the Mermaid Cove. I thought you're saying your name wrong sometimes. But I thought I'd check in with y'all. I am going to keep bringing stuff downstairs. You know, I don't... Back in the day, I would have gone up and down, up and down, up and down. Now I'll go up or down and up. Maybe once an hour. Twice an hour. So my table, I'll show y'all, is full of art goodness. You see all that? Let me do this. Put you down just a little bit. It's not working, y'all. There's some things I like in this tripod, and there's some things I literally hate. I like how it slides up and down, but the part where you can tilt the head. So let's see what we got going on here, y'all. What is going on? I'm coffee staining papers. So I have a little bit of everything. I want to tidy it up. Take down what I'm not using. Right, Clara? That pretty piece of paper, but it does not need to be on there. Here's my... I call it Jane Chippish because she... I should tape it. Uses a certain palette, which I've never used before in my life, so I'm gonna take that. But like this, these are watercolor pencils, y'all, and I really haven't used them, so they're gonna go down. Like my clear gesso, I really didn't use that. That can go down. That's when it gives a grit to the paper. Now I find my Trader Joe's list. Let's see. Random tubes of color. So I worked on my one book last night, a little bit. I have a whole bunch of journals going, and I just did little bits and bobs in them, which was totally delightful. My sharpener, sandpaper. scrapers. But I think one of the things, yeah, so a lot of this, bunch of tape, watercolors. Look at these, y'all. So these are, I'm working with these today. I watched somebody, her name's Carolyn Dube, or Doobie, D-U-B-E. And she did a thing on like how she breaks in new, when she gets new art supplies, she breaks them in, she plays with them, she wants to see what they can do. But she was using these, well, she was using a different brand, but basically using these. So I thought, I hadn't really played with them, but I thought I'd work on some of that. I'm going to keep those. And then I just want to, and these things, these are spray inks, and they're just crazy. They go everywhere and stain everything, and I don't know. I think it's a much more outside thing, y'all. So yes, I think I'm going to reduce this table. I'd like to be able to put like whatever I'm working on, like have everything fit on that round thing. So yeah. But I'm going to spend a couple hours in my studio and do laundry. And I got so much I want to do, so much a couple things I need to do, and stuff I should do. Right? But I'm not going to shit on myself today. No shouldn't. Y'all, no shouldn't today. I should do this. I should. Don't shit all over yourself, y'all. Come on. Claire Johnson is giving me CAT scans, checking to see if I'm going to get moved and give her more food. But she had almost a can. And she's only supposed to have 3/4. She got crunchy. She got fresh water. One of the good reasons to go to my studio is she'll be just nudging me to death here in the kitchen. So I got to play with her too. I need to find, we have a mousy on a string called mousy on a stick, because that's what Angela called it. So I need my coffee maker. And then I'm going to make a couple eggs, and I think I'm going to make later some hard-boiled eggs to have, y'all. I feel like, I don't know, my doctor finally called me with my test results from 3 months ago. I go Monday. I still don't have my prescription, y'all. And I really, now I'm going to go Monday and have to have a conversation about this and just tell her, how can she be my doctor if she can't follow through on prescriptions? But, everything was good. So, but what I do is get them and then compare them to see, is it changing, kind of thing. But I need to be much more proactive on that and keep notes and check on stuff. So, got to do that. But yeah, so going to have some, but my thing is, like, I haven't been eating a lot of sugar, but like I have a bite here and there, and I know it messes with my blood sugar. So, I'm really going to not eat sugar unless I twin it with protein. So I'm going to have me some hard-boiled eggs, a cookie, and part of a hard-boiled egg. Anyway, it's called twinning. If you're going to have something that's sugar and can raise your blood pressure, you also want to have something that's going to help keep it down. So, therefore, if you have fruit, you should have a piece of cheese or something. Like it balances it out. And I know this. So, yeah. So some sad news about Temu, T-E-M-U, other than it's evil and it's just terrible. But I watched, something came up on my, I think it was YouTube feed, that this reporter in Chicago, Illinois, that it's just not the general problems, is the stuff crappy? Are you getting what you said? Are they replacing it? Now, I'm going to tell you, I've never had a problem. I had one thing kind of crunched, and they sent me another one, because they don't put it in boxes. And, they really should. Sometimes things need to go in a box. Like, I would never order well, anyway. But they're selling information, and they're selling it, like, complete. With like birthdays and all kinds of stuff. So now my bank account is PayPal. So, but you know what? I just have In the last year, I've had 3 different letters from places I worked, mostly the government, that have been hacked. So, and you can get that free credit, thing. I should do that. Sign up for that. And, yeah, if I don't write it down, it'll never happen. Anyway, I've been waiting for something to be like, yeah, no. So, and then tomorrow morning, I must get up and go to the grocery store. Credit monitoring. Yeah, so I'm just going to get basics. I don't need much. We've got broccoli. I haven't done all my Trader Joe's yet, but I got broccoli and green beans. And then I have some steak. I have chicken. And then I think what I'm going to have to do is throw out... I know there's stuff in my freezer that's older. That's probably expired. And I'm going to just let that go and make room. And see what I do have to eat. But yes, but I need mayonnaise and a couple things like that. So, because I want to make some tuna fish. And I don't need a lot in my tuna fish, but y'all need a little hint of mayonnaise in my tuna fish. But I want to make some tuna this week. Yeah, and maybe some pasta salad tuna. Not sure. Yeah, but we'll talk about that later. So I'm going to pop in. We'll just see if YouTube will let me post it. Can't fight the YouTube, y'all. But, this is horrific, and my Beverly would be mad, so I can't talk to her about it. But, they had this shooting. They found this family basically executed, and it's outside Chicago. It's a mom and a dad, 2 young boys, and 3 dogs killed. And, there's this guy I follow on YouTube called JLR or JRL. JLR Investigates. He's goofy. I talked about him before. I really like him. He always says, come on in for a live. I like that. Come on, you guys, come on in. Sit down. Come on. But he's been following it. And he didn't say anything. But today it popped on my YouTube feed that what happened was because it had a person of interest because they told people don't shelter in place. It's not that kind of thing. And they ended up, I guess, they got the license plate, however one does. And it showed up in Oklahoma, and the police tried to pull the car over just for a, and the guy drove the car into a wall and then shot the woman with him and himself. So it turns out the woman with him, and he was dead right away. She died later at the hospital. It's just so useless. Just kill yourself, right? What is wrong? I mean, it's so hard to understand when you don't have a brain. Like my brain constantly seeks for conflict resolution. Like I just do. It's just how I am. And I've had training on it. It's like what I do at work. You're not trained for the good people, the easy people, the people who are happy or thrilled to be there or so grateful. You train for the people who are angry and upset, and none of it has anything to do with you, but you train for conflict, right? That's my job. It is not to engage, but not to take it personally, which I mostly don't. But you're there to learn how to handle people, how to help them. And of course, me being me, I try, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I try to listen, and I try to really connect in a way that maybe they feel heard or acknowledged. And I would say 8 out of 10 times that will change the energy, and they will calm down and back off a little bit. Not always, y'all. Some people are just beyond anything, but they're at a library, right? I mean, anyway, but that's what we're trained for, and I have no idea now where I was going with this. But anyway, so it turns out, this is unbelievable. This man that did the killing, his girlfriend of 8 years, who he considered his wife, I guess he started to become violent, really, and whatever. He changed and, was, you wonder, do people take drugs? What happens, like, if for a couple of years you're one way and all of a sudden you change, right? Something had to happen. But anyway, the woman that got murdered in the family is one of her relatives, and they were hiding her, or they were giving her a place to stay. And he went in there and shot up everybody except for that woman who he killed later. And she has grown children. I don't know why I'm drawn to this, you know, because I couldn't read it. Well, it's so interesting. I cannot read y'all coffee stain. Wow, I'm trying to control it. And I cut myself. Anyway, I lost it. Okay, so fiction, TV shows, movies about violence, I cannot tolerate because there's something there that engages your brain that makes you, it's to terrify you, right? There's music, there's the way they write, there's the suspense. Hate it. But something like this, like true crime or something that's going on I find fascinating. My mom and I kind of always did. I do sometimes get upset. And when the Brian Kochberger, he's the man who killed, or they allegedly, who knows, killed these poor students in Idaho, I honestly thought people were watching me. And I was like, how long's that car been out there? So I tried to limit it. I do limit it. I don't try. I do. But yeah, it's like kind of thing. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm compelled to watch it. So a lot of things I won't deep dive. Usually, I'll come on the tail end of something and not, you know. So there's certain things, like there's a couple children's issues. I'm not gonna watch them. I don't. So, but yeah. So that just is unbelievable. Wow. And I just want to give a little bit of talk about meeting people online, like through Instagram, through YouTube. I have been so blessed, y'all, getting to know you guys, and you know, on comments, which honestly, dear God, every day I want to do comments and I don't understand what's happening. Get a piece of my Jane chip paper here. So that when I sit down again to play around, I'm going to do comments. Because I love comments. You guys comment. I swear I'm going to get caught up. It's just this lack of medicine brain is making me crazy. Okay. So, I'm careful. Like, I did online dating. If only you had been with me then. You guys, that's so gross. If only you had been with me there. It was wild. I will do a whole thing on that one day. I can't even, but it's interesting. You know, men reach out on Instagram. Why? To me, I don't know. I'm not a young, pretty thing. But a lot of times people sense you're vulnerable or they think you're desperate. I really don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. And right now, there's such a huge scam with women, men reaching out, making them feel loved, making them feel special, making them feel important. And then all of a sudden they're in the hospital and they need money, right? And and there's so much more fraud with that and that we don't know about because people are embarrassed to call the police or to tell their friends. I mean, people are being swindled out of their retirements, like these women, and I'm sure men too. And it's hard because, people are vulnerable and we all have our wants and desires and where we feel lacking. And I will say this, I did meet someone online and I was careful. I mean, really careful. But but what I learned from that experience is I'm not going to meet someone next day, meet him somewhere. I'm not. So we spent time getting to know each other, but we spent a little too much time because then I felt like I knew him and he already started off with an edge, but I didn't know him, right? It's very easy to say what you want. And, we actually were together for quite a while. And, but I can see now, and mostly from watching stuff on Instagram and YouTube about how people manipulate. And I mean, not everyone's trying to get your money, right? That you don't have, but they want to play games or whatever, or feel like they're in control. All kinds of crazy stuff. So there's red flags though. Number one, don't get involved with anyone who you cannot meet up for coffee. What's the point of that? There's no point, because you can become emotionally attached. For what? For what, right? I'm not saying that miracles don't happen and you might meet them, but really chances are really slim, no. Because if you can't meet in person, because you just can't judge someone by what they're telling you on the internet. You don't know if it's their name. Like, I remember this guy, he said he was French, he was Spanish, right? He was this, but he was that. And y'all, I always say no married men, I'm not interested. And I'm telling you, they don't care. Married men are, but they can only talk to you at a certain time. They cannot, hey, let's have coffee on Monday morning, right? No. So there's things. I even met one guy who, I don't want smokers. I'm sorry, I just don't. I don't care. I just don't want to date you, maybe possibly kiss you. I just don't. And it's funny about online dating. If it's like you sit down and you look at questions and you think, well, is that okay? Would I be interested in that? As opposed to you organically meet someone and you have a connection, and none of else that really matters in the beginning, but it's a very strange thing. You learn a lot about yourself. Like, I'm not interested in dating women. So I'm not. That's a clear-cut one for me. But would I date someone who is, let's say, maybe Muslim or Jewish? And it makes you think. I don't know. If I met someone organically, it wouldn't bother me. But when you're having a list, it's just really, you learn a little bit about yourself. But when you meet someone that's reached out to you, honestly, most of the time, it's gonna cause you pain somehow. And sometimes I usually don't really respond, but sometimes I will. But I know that it's just like a little fun thing. That's it, right? I'm not. And you know what? Another huge red flag, if you meet someone, and let's say it could be 6 months, right? But all of a sudden they love you, they think you're the best person in the world, they're so lucky to meet you. That is bullshit, okay? Because they don't know you. They don't know you. How can they love you? They love the idea of you. They love the idea that they have someone that they can share this with, but it's not threatening, maybe. So rule number one, don't let it go too long till you meet. Don't engage with people who you can't meet for coffee. I get people I remember in the online dating, I'm like, you're in Italy. It's like, do you want to come stay with me for a free vacation, and other benefits? Like, no. I did meet this man called David, and I had so much fun because his emails were hysterically fun. Like, you must make all men crazy. And, in his broken English, it was so much, but I knew exactly what was happening, and I knew that it was my friend and I would read these emails. We just had the best time. Didn't lead anyone on, didn't do anything, but it was just fun. So meeting someone online, even if you're going to interact, like you guys, I've been lucky, but I'm careful. I'm really careful. And no matter who it is, careful. Don't, I'm very vulnerable and authentic, and but there's a part of me that's very guarded, that is got my spidey senses up and is untrusting. It's the truth, and it's served me well. And I believe I've come far from that, but y'all, I will never not have that. I won't. I can't. There's no way. It's just, no. But, and also I know, as, haven't you had friends before, you kind of meet and you bond, and it's like intense friendship, and it's like you've been best friends, soulmates forever. And then maybe 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, a year, maybe 2 years, you're thinking, do I really have something in common with this person? Or, are they kind of like, and it's because sometimes when an intense bond happens right away, that's almost not natural. Sometimes it is, and you click, but in general, it takes time. When I think about my deep, long-lasting friendships, I've known them a long time, and I don't know. I hope you know what I mean, but I'm not saying You got, like, some people on Instagram, I like instantly, right? And same with YouTube. And people feel that way about me, and that's awesome, but I'm not trying to get anything from anyone, and you're not trying to get anything from me, and it's just a fun thing. You're not dependent on it. So just be, you know what? And if you do want to meet someone, and I'm going to be heading that way soon, then do an online thing. Do a thing that's vetted. Do like eHarmony. Do something that's a little bit more, and they have ones for seniors. Do one that's a little bit more, like I'm going to go through a couple agencies that help people match up with roommates, because they do due diligence, right? Not that I'm not going to do my due diligence, but, and then have fun. It should be fun. Some of these emails I got from people, I mean, my God, my friends and it's wild. And I'm not someone who had a lot of dating experience. I really didn't. And so it was just, I was like a 15-year-old, y'all. It was something. And of course, I had to be careful because I wasn't really interested. Oh, my boyfriend and I got back together. I'm just like, sorry, that's not working for me. I don't know. I have a hard time with that, but I'm working on it. The fact I have to go and have a deep, painful conversation with my doctor on Monday is like, makes me so unhappy. But, so those are my thoughts about it. You're lonely, you're vulnerable. People can sense that. People know how to test it, how to manipulate it. And if one of the things I learned about this man I started dating is he would cycle in and out. And it's interesting because like we'd have intense, and then I wouldn't hear from him maybe 2-3 weeks, right? And then if I had negative feelings about it, he'd be like, what do you mean? Kind of thing. Like it was my fault. And he was master manipulator. He's a lot of fun in a lot of ways, but he's a master manipulator because that's what he did. He didn't want my money and all that. He just want to have a very, I don't know what they call it. Anyway, surface level relationship. And that was fine for me for a while, and then it wasn't okay anymore. And it wasn't going to progress past that. And that was, for me, boring, honestly. But there are signs that people are trying to control you, because if you're having a relationship or even talking and it's intense and then all of a sudden you don't hear from them, someone who cared for you or was legitimately interested in you would say, hey, I'm going to be out of town, or I've got a really tough work schedule coming up. I'm going to probably not be around much online, or I've got family and whatever. Or my wife just got back from vacation. I have to wait for her to go on another business trip. So, because it should make you anxious. And if it makes you anxious, then it's not the right thing. That's a red flag. If it makes you feel like, well, did I do something wrong? Red flag, because no, you did not. If it makes you feel like, okay, I can't trust anyone. No, red flag, red flag, red flag. And you can become addicted. People know how to get you addicted. It's sad, but true. I didn't know any of this, but I learned. And now I know some stuff that I don't want. I know signs now, really from Instagram about like narcissists and manipulators. I mean, and there's some good people out there. And I didn't know because I was too busy in it. I was like too busy wondering, well, God, did he call? And of course he called, and, and he thought I was so smart in this, and he was like a cultured smart man. So he, how cool that he liked me, kind of crap. And, but I was, fresh meat. I'm very, enthusiastic and open. And he said to me once, I said, what is my best quality? He goes, well, one of your main qualities is transparency. But he did not mean that in a good way. He meant it. Now I know he meant like in a way because he can manipulate me. But end of story, you still start to feel some certain way. But the thing is, I didn't feel shame or embarrassment because I I went through many phases, but honestly, it was a learning experience I should have had maybe when I was 18 or 19. So I have delayed all over the place, and it was hard. Trust me, it was painful at times because that withdrawal. They know what they're doing. They withdraw, and it makes you crave it, and it's real. It's a real thing. So my advice is go on a dating site, and a real dating site, a legitimate, even eHarmony, something that I've never been on eHarmony, but honestly, being plus size too, that limits to people who are going to be interested in me. And then, so I tried different things, but now that I'm older, I don't know what I would go on. I really don't know. I don't particularly want to date anyone much younger than me, though. I had this one guy. I was maybe, when did all this happen? 40s, early 40s maybe, and he was very honest about it. He was like 26, but I was just like his kind of person, woman. And we had some fun emails. I said, I'm gonna tell you here right now, this is not going anywhere. It's just you're young. I just do. So. But we had fun for a little bit. And I said, I'm being honest. I know you think you can play me, and go right ahead because I'm enjoying myself in the meantime. But, we're not. And usually, also, people want to meet up. Like, people don't want to be texting for 6 years or 6 months or something. And I would suggest you limit contact and meet within 4 weeks maybe. I mean, unless you're getting and you meet in public somewhere. And actually this man, we'll call him the French Spaniard, but he when we were gonna meet the first time, he never showed up. I thought, well, I was at Barnes and Noble or Borders even then, and then looking at magazines, enjoying myself, and he didn't. I thought, okay, well, and it turns out he went to the wrong one. And then I guess I hadn't given him my phone number because of my caution. I don't know. And so he couldn't call me, kind of thing. So he had to go back to work, and then, this crap. So anyway, it seemed legitimate because he could describe the shopping center. But yeah, but that's my advice. And somewhere public, I remember one time I met someone in a parking lot of like a Barnes and Noble, and it was a summer night. It was busy. We were standing outside the car just chatting. I was just picking up energy. Knew immediately this was not working for me. And then he says to me, now I always say I was like a shop girl, or, I never said, because, I'm anything really. So, and I remember we were outside, and he looks up and he goes, my girlfriend used to work there, and I hate people who read and like books. Really? Wow, okay. Well, I hate people who read and love books. I was like, wow. And I said, it's so nice to meet you. I felt like I should follow through. I said, but my boyfriend and I kind of, we're trying to feel it out and da-da-da. So that's another thing. And read books about it, Read books about people who've been scammed. But never be ashamed or embarrassed to reach out to people and say, hey, this happened, or whatever it is, because people are criminals, and really, it's just sad. But even the people who just want to emotionally mess around with you I can remember there's a YouTuber I watch. I haven't seen her in a while, Candy something or other, and she's huge, plus size huge. And she had gone online and met this guy and went back and forth, and felt like she knew him, and they were going to meet up. And it had been a while. A couple of times he backed out, but they showed up, and there was supposed to be he was coming into town. She'd taken off work, and he just didn't call. Nothing. And then he called like 3 days later with an excuse. And she chose to believe him because she was connected to him in a way that she shouldn't have, because it was fake. And then, what are you doing, Claire Johnson? You going potty? Oh, look at Claire. Oh, sorry. I forgot my phone. She's here. You going potty, girl? When she goes up the stairs super slow, she's going potty. And then when she runs down, she's gone potty. Yeah? Everyone says good morning. And he, and she let it happen one more time. And he was just, she's not even evil, whatever they're lacking, and that this fills them up. That you don't want to be that. You don't want to be sucking up your energy for some, that it's not, yeah. Anyway, so that is my advice to anyone. And it may feel like, well, I really want to talk to him. Don't. Go start searching online for real dating sites, friends sites. Go do that, or look for, there's even clubs, like you could be part of a wine tasting club or walking club where you can meet someone organically. This doesn't seem to happen to me, but and you're older, you're not hanging out with it's just different, right? You're not bar hopping. People aren't having like cocktail parties and you can meet people at. It's a weird kind of thing. So I do think online is great, and it just like I've met so many great people here I wouldn't have met. And the fun thing, I had so much fun just filling out the forms and screaming and carrying on and calling my friends and, so, and you don't have to answer anyone. You don't. And trust me, I was talking about age. So the man I ended up meeting, the Spaniard, he was older. And because what happens is you can set the algorithm like 5 years ahead, 5 years behind, something like that, right? You have to choose, right? And you could choose, doesn't matter age, right? But he lied because it would have thrown him out of my algorithm search. So I get it. But at the same time, and no one is as tall as they say. We were laughing so hard at work. I was telling a couple people about this experience I had, and that people would say they're 6 feet and they're 5'3", or the picture was from high school. And so one of my coworkers who's older than I am, she's a grandma. She's a lovely, lovely human being. And she goes, well, here's what I would put on my dating site. It's like she looks like she's 20 or 30. Her son had like played around in an app to make her look younger. We were hysterical. So, you do. I put, you want to put your best way. Like my face looks good and I have makeup and, But I also put normal pictures because I'm not interested in anyone who's going to be like, what's that about? You're going to meet someone, all your flaws are going to be there, what you consider a flaw. So, and there are just a lot of men out there who just want to meet someone and don't know how, or is as awkward as we feel and that kind of stuff. But it is a process, and it's a very strange process. It's almost like shopping for a used car. It is a very strange, and you do not settle for the first used car that shows up in your life. You just don't. And I mean this. If anything, now what I really learned from him is, because I was like a 15-year-old girl. But there are things that like, maybe I felt like so it was a balance of things I expected as a young girl might expect, right? Like a certain level of attention that needed to be intense. So that was something I did have to work through, but then he really, knew how to manipulate me. And I'm not saying, evil or anything, just people want their needs met, right? They do. And he was, woohoo, she got a sparkly ball. See, she's coming down the stairs playing. But, and not a bad person at all. Not at all. I learned a lot about myself doing that. So that's the thing. So if you want to do online dating and reach out to someone, or whether it's to join a hiking club or a book club or a political thing, church social, whatever, have fun and learn about yourself. Like, is dating someone that young okay? Or, would I want to date someone 20 years older than me? Some cases, yes, maybe 25. Because you know who this is for. It's for you. But yeah. You do, and it's fun, and it's a process, and it's hard though, because if you're hurting and you're lonely because you lost your partner of so many years, and while, my mom and I, part of what I'm learning is, my mom and I lived together most of my life. I escaped to college for a little bit, but it's a whole nother story, but I miss my mom terribly. She's a part of my life, good or bad, and I've had to learn a lot about myself. And I appreciate her in a whole nother way. And I'm also angry at her in a whole nother way. So complicated, right? We're all complicated. And I also don't, it's like I don't want someone to have to walk through fire, but I am cautious and careful. I don't care what it is. I can remember, y'all, this is true story. I was an elevator operator at the Senate, the Capitol downtown for the actual senators. One day I was walking, I just left you kind of go through the office buildings and then come out to go to Union Station or wherever you're going. And true enough, John McCain pulls up in a Corvette, topless Corvette. And he says, now, I got to know some of the senators because you're there every day, right? And some, paid attention. Some were nice, some weren't, some didn't care. Some were just annoyed constantly. But I remember him saying to me, hey, where are you going? I said, I'm going to go down to Union Station. And he's like, I'll give you a ride. Hop in. No. I said, oh, God, thank you. I said, but you know what? I've just been cooped up all day, just enjoying the walk. So thank you another time. And he was just being kind. Honestly, I know he was being kind and nice and spur of the moment. But y'all, you don't know. Nothing can happen to me if I'm not alone in a car with some senator. I saw things. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just cautious. No. So, yeah. But I also don't want it to be I don't want someone to have to work super hard to, get past a huge barrier. You kind of, my therapist, I always said men don't like to date women my size. And it was just how I felt and pretty much been taught my whole life, really. And he's like, no, that's not true. Men don't like to date women whose welcome mat is not out. And really, when we worked on that and that shifted me, he was right. So, yeah. But anyway, that's my advice. Begin the process. And you can just go online and start Googling different dating sites. Have fun and see what criteria you have to put in. Get a different email than get another Gmail account, different than you would. Don't give them your main email account or something you use all the time. Change a few things. I'm not saying that make yourself 5 years younger or whatever. If you're 200 pounds, make yourself 150. But just don't, just be cautious. That's all. And I'm not worried about maybe someone wanting to hurt me and kill me or anything like that. But it's more the emotional thing. It's challenging. And it's trusting. So that is my advice. People who slip in your DMs and Instagram, that to me, I enjoy the emails. I think they're funny. But you go look on their account and they don't have pictures. And you can see who they're following, a bunch of women. No. So, but I did have one guy. He must have been, I don't know, he lived in Washington State or somewhere like that. And he looked like he was maybe 30, 25, something like that. And it's just like, I was like, this is my nephew's age, my niece's age, and then it was my age. Then it was my brother's age and my mom's age. Just how kind of classify people. But so I texted a little bit. It was just fun. I mean, heaven forbid. But anyway, something happened. And I hit call. How does that happen, you guys? And he's like, I didn't even realize I had done it. And I hear his voice. I'm like, oh my God. And he goes, why are you calling me? What's going on? What's wrong with you? I thought, here you are texting me. I said, I didn't. My phone did. Oh my God. I said, you just have a lovely, he goes, well, we could talk. And I said, no. I said, I'm good. Thanks. But yeah. So maybe you don't want this, or you don't want that, or, you do, you can want someone with a college degree. You don't care. I mean, it's fascinating when you start thinking about it. So yeah, that is what's going on. My words of advice. And when we start this, but I also think I'm vulnerable because I do share a lot of stuff here, but I'm also got a spidey sense and I also am not trusting. So it takes time to get past that. And then you trust to certain levels. But, my God, there are women who've been married to their husband and get murdered by them. Right? So it's, but I do think it's about learning about yourself. if you make it about that and not like, I'm so lonely, I need someone to fill this void, but realize that, yeah, you're lonely, and what can I do about it? There's nothing wrong with it. It shouldn't feel desperate. But yeah, and I would suggest getting a grief counselor who could even help you through this process of moving on and doing it in a way that is more in your control and your comfort level, and yeah, to move forward. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. And but like I said, even start meeting people out, like, God forbid, pickleball. What is it with the pickleball? You know? But anyway, you guys, that's my thoughts, and thanks for listening. And yeah, we all just want to be connected, you know. And I think that's what's about YouTube, is you feel connected to someone or a group, you know, especially, you know, all this true crime stuff I watch. And there's a few, it's like, you know, it's the Grizzly family, it's the something tribe, it's, you know, and we all want a sense of identity and belonging, and which is awesome, you know, and something like that, because you don't always, like, okay, my art. I mean, there's people who look at it, but they're not interested in art, like Beverly and I met at work because she had a magazine called Stampington that I had, and I knew what that meant, and it changed our relationship, right? Because we started going to different places she wanted to go to look at things and take classes, and that is how really truly our friendship turned a corner into really being deep and soulmates. So, but you know, people, so it's not really fun to show, you know, like, okay. And even some of you know, whatever you're here for, just Trader Joe's, you're not interested in other stuff, and that's just normal and legitimate. But when you try to find groups that are like-minded, and just because you have like pickleball doesn't mean you guys are going to be friends anywhere else, or, you know, you're part of a dinner club, you know. And literally, I won't talk politics at all. There are certain things I absolutely am not interested in. When my mother left, that was it for me. Now, if I have friends and they need to say something, my brother's obsessed, that's fine. But it's not like I want to have this conversation. Even at work, when people, you know, people come in like, did you hear? I'm like, no, I'm, what's the word? I'm just, no, I'm not interested, because it upsets me, and there's not one thing I can do other than be a rebel, be kind. Don't be right, be kind. You know, people act like, there's a guy like on one of the channels, he's a guest, the older guy, a detective, and he reminds me of people I knew growing up, but God, Lord almighty, is he close-minded. So close. He doesn't get it. He sounds so flippant, arrogant and ignorant, and he's not. But he's made up his mind. This is wrong. This is right. And he says things, and I made a comment once. I'm like, please educate yourself. Please, you know, please read some books. Open your eyes, you know. Don't be so judgmental. And, you know, I'm sorry. God loves everybody. And I get you guys. I know there's some religions where this is right and this is wrong, but no, God loves everyone. That's the whole point, right? And we say, let God judge, and we judge. Of course, we all judge. I judge people who judge people. But, and people had commented back to me, and someone was like, well, it's refreshing for someone to speak their mind and be politically incorrect. No, it's not. No, it's not. Anyone can do that. Any of us can have a moment and be like, blah, 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 blah. It takes restraint sometimes, and choosing the higher road, and sometimes it's really lonely up there on the higher road. So yeah, no, because you can open your mouth and snap out crap does not make you somebody's hero, or wow, he's got, and look at that. No, he grew up with that. That's how he is. And you know what? I really respect people who have been like that and have started to educate themselves and step back and get a bigger view. So that's my thinking on that, you know, I think to be really make a change in this world, and I absolutely respect people like Joe, who at the food bank, you know, and I miss her so much, you guys. It's a whole nother level of, I just can't get it over it. Walking the walk, talking the talk. And I just honor that. And, you know, but my right now is to be kind and not right. And it's not easy always. Anyone can open their mouth and shoot off what they're thinking. You know, we can all do that. But can you hold your shit together and realize this is really some sad situation, and this person, whatever they're angry about or whatever, you know, that they have to be right because they don't feel okay inside, and you can choose to be kind and not educate them because really, you know. And when I get that, I'll just say, well, thank you for sharing. You know, I don't engage in this. Am I going to educate everyone? No. I've had a couple customers who I've known a long time and have come to me and said something, and it's really, I'm like, what are you fearful of? It's really a fear-based thing. Thank you, watching Fox News. And I know this from my mother, that it's a fear thing, right? And listen, some men are like Fox News, right? Like they get, it's, whatever it is, they gauge in that part that there's fearful in you, and they know how to manipulate it, and that's Fox News, maybe most news things. But yeah, that's my thinking on that it's not always easy to be kind. But I really, really work on choosing that. And I had a situation with someone, and once I realized there was a big issue going on here, it took me a good 20 seconds to pull it back in myself and not engage with that behavior. Why would I want to do that? That's not me. That's this person. God knows what has happened in this person with tragedy or anxiety, or who knows, maybe her husband's losing his job. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why people act, but I'm trying to give people benefit of the doubt when I can. If not, I remove myself from a situation. But am I gonna, you know, someone tries to cut you off and then you want to speed up it? Yeah, it's like, it's an instinct, but I try really hard not to do that, because if everyone in the world starts reacting to how people are acting, well, we're there, I think. You know, you just don't hear about the people being kind instead of right. So anyway, I don't know why I'm talking like this, y'all. I got to go scrub my hands, check on my papers, get dressed, get moving, go play with my cat, make some eggs. So yeah. And not sit down and do art until I've done an hour of house caring. That's what I'm calling it, y'all. House caring. It's not work. It's not a chore. It's a house caring. So that's the goal. And then I'm going to do a half hour of art. Then I'm going to go back and do an hour of house caring, whatever that means to me, and come back and do an hour of art and do a half hour. I'm going to taper up. So, and then I'll forget and do something totally different. So yeah, and that's okay. All right, guys, thank you so much. Any, you know, comments, or reach out to me on Instagram. You can DM me there. It's private. And, you know, you guys mean a lot to me. And those of you who have reached out to me in DMs and you've gotten to know you a little better, I appreciate it so much. And I just wish we could have dinner and coffee and meet for lunch and go for a walk. But I feel like we have that kind of energy anyway. And you know, people who don't understand, they don't understand. It's, you know, I find myself trying to explain it to someone. I'm like, it's just magic. I can't. It just is. It's magic. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. And if you're new and you're this long, y'all tell me who you are, where you're from, what's going on, what your interests are. I love all that. So fair is fair. All right, guys, you take care. And yeah, I will pop on with some kind of house caring I'm doing today. Bye.